Hey everyone, Ryan from Ebike Escape, and in this video we're going to share with you some accessories that you might want to consider for your Ride1Up Cafe Cruiser. So let's get into it. Before we get started with the video, if you are looking to purchase any Ride1Up electric bike, please consider using the link in the description. It's a free and easy way to help support the channel and makes videos like this one possible. Thank you so much for your support. We will also have a full blog post with all of these accessories listed, so you can check out any of these products if you are interested in purchasing them. I will also link to our full electric bike accessories list, top e-bike brands page, and finally our electric bike discounts code page, where we track all the deals on the electric bike brands that we follow. And before we get started, I wanted to have my brother talk about some of his experience with the Cafe Cruiser, because we did do a review a few months ago. I will put a link in the top right-hand corner of your screen, but actually my brother has been riding this bike quite a bit and has even taken it on vacation, has been riding with some passengers, so maybe he wants to share some of his thoughts. So I think the first thing just to understand about this bike, if you haven't already seen our review, is that it's really a mix of a few different things. Of course, we have these swept back handlebars, so that's more of a cruiser style bike, but then you have these wider tires for increased stability and comfort. But then it's kind of a cargo bike as well, because you have room for a passenger. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about the ride feel, how this compares to perhaps the Ride1Up 500 series that you also own and have been riding quite a bit.
The first thing that I noticed riding this bike compared to other bikes that I own is the suspension on this thing. So, I ride mainly flat paved roads. I'm not taking it on gravel trails or anything like that. But there's a fair amount of potholes and divots and things like that. And I also own a Ride1Up, which doesn't have any kind of suspension in the front, and definitely feels a lot smoother of a ride with this suspension. And we also have a Ride1Up 500 series that also has suspension. And it feels very similar to that ride.
So if you're going on a ride, what makes you choose taking the Cafe Cruiser out compared to, say, the 500 series, which is more of a standard cruiser bike? You do have the step through of that version with the swept back handlebars as well. But what are the differences in your opinion?
Yep. So we primarily got this bike because of its passenger capability. So we have two kids, and we like to take them out on rides, and we also like to run errands with them as well. And putting them both on the back of a single bike was getting a little too cumbersome. The weight limit was kind of getting there. So I appreciate this, where now one of us can take the Cafe Cruiser, the other one can take another cargo bike, and we can take the whole family out on trips.
And just quickly before we get into the accessories, how does it feel with a passenger? So compared to a cargo bike, you are a little bit higher. All the weight's not quite as low compared to, say, the Ride1Up, but how does it feel putting around a 100-pound passenger in the rear here?
So riding with a passenger feels great. I personally have pretty good balance on the bikes, plus I'm used to riding another cargo bike with passengers. I would say it's a little bit different though than, let's say, the Ride1Up, because with the Ride1Up, the wheel size is a little bit smaller, everything's a little bit lower to the ground. So with this bike, it's a little bit higher. I would say riding this bike feels more like a traditional type bike ride. So if you're going for, hey, I want a cargo bike, but I still want to feel like, I'm riding a normal bike, then, this is perfect.
Okay, great. Let's get into the accessories. We'll actually start here in the cockpit. So we have a bar end mirror. This is actually my favorite brand. This is a half knee mirror. Now they sell all sorts of different mirrors that you can put on here. Now I really like the decision to put a bar end mirror, because the handlebar mirrors are just a little bit trickier when you have these swept back bars. The chances of you being able to get the handlebar mirror in the right position with the swept back bars just isn't likely. So I think the bar end mirrors are a really smart choice on this. And you can get ones of various styles. I'll be sure to link to a few. This is more of their sleeker styling one, if you will, and it also has an additional rise here. So you can choose whatever one you like. They also sell them in different glasses with blue tints and things like that. Next, let's talk about my favorite cell phone holder. Now, we do have two on here to feature, but this is the Night Eyes Raptor, and what I really like about this one is its simplicity. It simply attaches to the handlebars with this rubber strap, and it just connects to all four corners of the cell phone. No issues with it clamping on any of the buttons. This is the cell phone holder that you see on all of my review videos. All right, now let's talk about this one made by Gub. This is actually the cell phone holder that you can order directly from Ride1Up. You can also purchase it on Amazon as well. And it has this little screw here which tightens down on the phone. So go ahead and show you that. Now this phone in particular, there are no issues with the buttons coming in contact where this clamps. So another good option, and I wanted to feature the one directly from Ride1Up. Perhaps you can order it directly when you order your Cafe Cruiser. All right, let's talk quickly about this bell. We have this simple blue bell here. So the Cafe Cruiser does not come with a bell, so my brother opted to put this one on. Has a really nice ring to it. Next, let's talk about this really cool front basket, actually mounted right on either side of the stem here. And what's really cool about this is you can slide this over to the unlock position and simply remove this. So if you're going to the farmer's market or the store, you can put whatever you want in here. And it does have a top to it, so you can perhaps overload it a little bit, and in case you run into any inclement weather, it'll help keep everything a little bit drier. And the cool thing with this basket is it does not come so far down here, so you don't have to worry about any clearance with the suspension, because obviously there is the chance, depending on what you'd put here, that when the suspension is compressed, that the bag could come in contact with the tires, but no issues with this one. So definitely a cool way to put some front cargo on your electric bike, especially if you're putting a passenger in the rear. This one is going to pertain to taller riders, but we opted to install a stem riser which lifts the handlebars higher. This is user preference, so you might want to wait to see how you like the position of the handlebars before buying. You could also consider an adjustable stem for increased customization. All right, next we have the helmets that my brother has been using while riding his electric bikes. These are the Senna R1 helmets, not the Evos. I personally wear the Senna R1 Evos. The main difference is that these just use Bluetooth, whereas the Evos use a mesh technology. And they do now have the R2s, and you can also purchase the M, and the R is for road, and the R2s look a little bit more road or aggressive compared to the R1 that you see here. And then of course the M1s stand for mountain, and so those look a little bit more like a mountain bike helmet. But these helmets are awesome because you can talk with whoever you're riding with, and it's super easy to pair. You can connect it to your phone, you can listen to music, and the speakers are just tucked up here nicely so you can still hear traffic as well. And me personally, when I ride my electric bike with my wife, we always wear our Senna helmets. Really like them. You can also get the Senna Pies, which I've reviewed, if you want to make any helmet smart. So definitely check out these Senna helmets. A huge fan, and I can't recommend them enough. Okay, next we have this top tube bag made by Rock Brothers. I always like riding with a top tube bag because it gives you a second spot to put your phone in case it rains. This one in particular is streamlined, it's nice and thin, and you don't necessarily have to purchase this exact one. I just wanted to show off that a top tube bag can fit really nicely here. This one happens to have two zippers because it does come with a divider that you can put in here. So you can also put some tools in here. Just a nice handy accessory if you're looking for additional storage space on your electric bike. All right, next let's talk about water bottle cages. Now I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but you can see we have the step-through version of the Cafe Cruiser. Really, it's a mid-step, but there's not a lot of clearance here for a water bottle. So we opted for one that removes from the side. And so you can have a water bottle cage down here. You could also mount a lock if you'd wanted to. And this is the Polar bottle. This is another water bottle that I recommend. It has some insulation, and they are made in the US. So if you're buying a Cafe Cruiser step through, consider purchasing a side-loaded bottle cage. Next, as we're down here, we have an alarm, and this is the alarm that I did a full review on. So you can check out that video if you're interested. I'll put a link to it in the top right-hand corner of your screen. But this is great for additional security. And this alarm comes with a key fob very similar to one found on your car, and you can simply lock it. And it's going to let you know that the alarm is now set. And if anyone were to move this bike, it's going to give you a warning. And then if you keep going, it's going to alarm, and it's super loud. So this is a cheap way to help secure your electric bike. I also recommend the higher security locks from name brands such as Kryptonite and Abus. Now, while this is a stock seat, I just wanted to point out how comfortable this saddle is. When I did my review, I was pleasantly surprised, but you might want to consider, if you're looking for additional cushion, you could put a suspension seat post on here as well. That's an accessory that I highly recommend and is definitely worth the money, though you might want to see how it feels just with the saddle, because I have to imagine a majority of people are going to be very, very happy with the comfort of the saddle. So nice job, Ride1Up. Next, as we talked about earlier, we have the passenger kit on this electric bike, and what that comes with are these really nice pegs that flip down for storage. It also comes with this guard to prevent the passenger's feet from going in there, or any clothes as well. And then finally, it comes with this really nice seat that's custom made for the Cafe Cruiser. I'll show you how it attaches in a little bit, because I'm a huge fan of what Ride1Up did with this. But I did want to highlight these passenger bars that you could potentially consider purchasing. Perhaps you have a child back here and you want them to have something to hang on to. Now you can see it does come slightly in contact with this rear seat, so something you want to be aware of, but I'll still link this just in case you want to look at purchasing it. It does attach to the seat post, so you'll want to consider how tall you are and what your inseam is, depending on where you're riding this and how low the seat post is. We're taller riders, so the seat post is raised up quite a bit. All right, let's talk about this seat. So what Ride1Up did is they put a Thule Maxi window in here, and then they designed a seat that works. So it's a quick release, so you can easily pop this off. I really like that Ride1Up has you covered with their passenger kit. I think they did a really nice job. Speaking of cargo capability, I wanted to show off the Ride1Up panniers that they sell on their website. There's an outside pocket here. And of course, these are really great if you're going grocery shopping, running errands, and they seem really well built. They have this hard backing, and of course, there's plenty of storage in here, and they do have a cinch strap here as well. Just keep in mind with these panniers, they don't work when the passenger kit is installed, because the clips on the rear right here actually are meant to attach right here. And so you would have some issues installing the Ride1Up panniers on the Cafe Cruiser with the kit. But if you're not going to put a passenger on the Cafe Cruiser, definitely consider some panniers if you want to buy the Ride1Up branded ones. I think they do look nice, and of course they match the branding from around the bike. Next, let's talk about my child's favorite accessory. This is the Thule Maxi, and I think this is really what got me excited about this electric bike, because we love using our rad wagon with the seat, and I was very happy when they told me that this seat also works on the Cafe Cruiser. And so again, this is the window that they have created, and to install the seat, you simply put in the front section first and then let it fall down, and you simply turn this all the way to the right. This locks the seat in place, and then there is a key that comes with this. So definitely an expensive accessory for hauling your kids around, but it's just awesome that it works right from the get-go. You can buy the seat, you know it's gonna work on the Cafe Cruiser. All right, that wraps up all the accessories that you might want to consider for your Ride1Up Cafe Cruiser. Again, link in the description to Ride1Up's website. If you use that link before you make your purchase, it really helps support the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Other links down in the description as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.